Texas. Valley Sports Southwest, the heart of the fan.
With unflagging determination and a balanced attack, the Rangers proudly stand atop the AL West. The offense churns with relentless fury, dominating opponents at every turn. The starters continue to sparkle, carving up the strike zone with stunning precision. Bruce Bochy has reestablished hope and winning expectations in Arlington, with the goal of winning their first division crown since 2016. It has been some kind of start to the season as fans head in for the final home game in the month of May for the Rangers. Yeah, this is the view from up top. Rangers baseball, presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. Final game of this three-game series with the Colorado Rockies. Hello, everybody. Great to have you with us this afternoon. I'm Dave Raymond. CJ Nikowski will be along here very shortly. For the Rangers, hard to believe, but this is the final home game of the month of May. But what a month it has been. What a start it has been for this team. They're looking to do something they haven't done in some 7 years, which is win a division title. They're 11 games over 500 for the first time since 2016 when they last did it. The starters earned run average best in 40 years around here, and they are scoring runs in bunches. It's been a whole lot of fun. So here is CJ, and when we talk about this start for the Rangers, I suppose you could identify any number of guys. Let's talk about all of them.
Well, it's the depth. That's what's getting it done. That's why the Rangers are scoring as many runs as they are so far this season. And it starts at the very top with the veteran in Marcus Semien. Leadoff hitter has been getting on base, and that has allowed him to score as the big boys knock him in. 41 runs so far. That is the second most in Major League Baseball. The guy leading the league with RBIs is Adolis Garcia. No doubt Marcus Semien has been the guy that he has driven in quite a few times. But it's not just the guys at the top in the middle, but also what's going on at the bottom of the order. Ezekiel Duran, since April 24th, has the second most hits in the American League. I'm not sure anybody saw that coming, and the month of May has been very good for Leody Taveras, as he has the second best batting average at .368 in the AL.
It has been something to watch, and these starters have been unbelievable, and they are ready to pour it on.
Gas on the pedal.
Is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts and by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better.
Top down on a gorgeous day for baseball as the Rangers and Rockies play the finale of a three-game set, and it would be a great day for a sweep as well. Andrew Heaney going to the mound for the Rangers, and this starting rotation has been lights out, as we can see in our Shiner Box spotlight. They knew they had something, at least on paper, with this rotation, but when you look at what they've been able to produce, it is quite eye-opening, and especially considering they've done it in large part without the services of their ace, Jacob deGrom. But there you see the numbers of just how solid this rotation has been. Andrew Heaney will look to continue that trend and pick up where he left off last time, CJ.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great start to the season for this rotation. As Emily mentioned, even without Jacob deGrom, the depth has been tested, and it showed up in Dane Dunning. But this afternoon, we get Andrew Heaney making his 9th start of the season. You can see those overall numbers for him. Very nice batting average against for Andrew Heaney. And we'll take also a look at his pitch arsenal. He's been very good with what he has used so far this season. You can see those strikeouts at a pretty healthy number as well. Four-seam fastball, changeup, and slider for the left-hander. The four-seam fastball has just a 177 batting average against. In this current climate, when hitters are crushing fastballs, Andrew Heaney has done some excellent work. How about the Rangers defense today? Robbie Grossman, Leody Taveras, and Adolis Garcia in the outfield. Nathaniel Lowe and Josh Young on the corners, with Ezekiel Duran and Marcus Semien up the middle. And Jonah Heim is our catcher today.
All right, just about set to go in the finale in this 3-game series. A chance for the Rangers to sweep the Rockies. Now, it would also mean a winning homestand for the Rangers. Remember, they dropped 2 out of 3 to start this thing with Atlanta. Felt like maybe a game got away from them in the finale of that series. And Bruce Bochy and the gang came out swinging in this series. 7-2 win in the opener on Friday. Yesterday, had to call off the Dogs late. It ended up an 11-5 Rangers win. But they have been scoring runs in bunches and walloping these Rockies so far. Colorado 9.5 games out in the National League West, trailing the division-leading Dodgers. A record 19-27. See the lineup there at the bottom of the screen. A couple of change-ups today, and that Jurickson Profar will be leading it off for the Rockies. The former Ranger getting a start in left field, and slipping in there today for Charlie Blackmon. The veteran gets this Sunday afternoon off. Well, we're ready to go, and Heaney delivers. First pitch smashed by third base. Profar is aboard with a base hit.
And it was the first pitch fastball from Andrew Heaney, just talking about how great this pitch has been for him. Just kind of throwing that first get me over, looking for an early strike, and Profar did not let it go by. You know, Jonah Heim was set up on the outside corner. I think we're looking at Andrew Heaney just trying to get ahead. There's that patented Jurickson Profar smile. That hasn't changed over the years.
Nope. So he takes a small lead at first base, and now Ryan McMahon watches one off the plate. Just underway today. The Rockies, they need something, a little feel good to get out of this series. It has been a struggle for them, and they had been playing well in the month up until this series. This one fouled back. 1-1. Kind of a tough stop off here for Bud Black and his crew. Black now in his 7th year managing the Colorado Rockies. One. So Heaney falls behind here after allowing that leadoff hit. Well, yesterday, the Rockies, they loaded the bases with nobody out to start the game. They had Blackmon, Profar, and Bryant on base with nobody out, and somehow John Gray got out of that. No runs allowed. It's wide, 3-1.
Well, Andrew Heaney is a pretty average ground ball pitcher at 43%. But the changeup and the slider actually do a pretty good job of keeping the baseball on the ground. We just saw the slider there in the 2-1 count.
Well, this one lined down to first and turns into a double play. Lowe made the great snare, and Profar just dead to rights with his lead off first. Well, there's a break for Andrew Heaney.
Certainly is. This ball was hit pretty hard. 92-mile-an-hour fastball, but Nathaniel Lowe in the right spot, and really nothing that Jurickson Profar could do. You're thinking that ball's going to get through and kind of get to third. No, it didn't get through, and you're not even allowed to go back to first.
So just like that, the bases are empty with 2 gone, and the designated hitter Chris Bryant, he'll take a high strike.
Keep that in the back of your mind and see if that's going to be consistent today. That will help Andrew Heaney a lot because of his fastball. He has that riding fastball. If at the top of the strike zone or above it is available today, we'll probably see a lot of it.
Oh, and then he follows that up with the changeup down low, and Bryant quickly in a hole 0-2. That's a tough combo. Up and on the outside corner, down and on the inside corner. And Heaney's 0-2. That's very high. Bryant's numbers not too bad. Maybe not the same kind of threat he was back at the peak of his career, which, by the way, the peak of his career came very early, his first couple of years with the Chicago Cubs. He's now in his 2nd season as a Rocky. He fouls that one away.
Second year of a 7-year deal that he signed going back to 2022. He's 31 years old, and so a lot of time left on that contract for Chris Bryant. But you're right, what we have seen from him is that slugging come down pretty consistently.
Taps one back to the mound. Heaney very casually lobs it over to first. And just like that, the inning is done. So he gets his job done. Now with the offense, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, and Nathaniel Lowe will get things started for the Rangers. Gets it done and quickly, and now the Rangers come to bat. 28 wins, 17 losses for the first time this year, 11 games over 500. It'll be Marcus Semien at second, Seager DHing today, Nathaniel Lowe at first. Garcia, Young, and Heim doing the catching in the heart of the order. Grossman starts at left, Duran at shortstop, and Leody Taveras in center field will bat ninth.
And for the Rangers this afternoon, they'll be facing the right-hander, Connor Seabold. 10 games so far this season. 3 of those have been starts. You can see his 28 innings, low strikeout rate, high batting average against for him so far. 4 home runs allowed. He's got a 4-seam fastball, slider, and a changeup, and high numbers across the board. 300 batting average against the 4-seamer, 308 against the slider, 417 against his changeup.
Well, he's ready to get it going here this afternoon. Marcus Semien, the batter, and he'll take right down the middle for a strike.
A little bit of a different approach, right? We saw Andrew Heaney kind of throw that first pitch fastball down the middle. Seabold with a first pitch slider to start the game.
Next pitch, that one's hammered foul.
I don't know if all the old timers would agree, but at one point that was considered kind of an unwritten rule. They just throw a first pitch fastball to start the game.
Where you had to, right?
Felt like you get called out if you didn't.
Ground ball left side of the infield. McMahon comes up with it, and Semien turned back to start the bottom of the first. Why was that? I mean, why?
Dumb. Oh, I'm not saying it was a smart idea or made any sense. It was just one of those things. Or even starting a batter with a changeup really wasn't a thing. And now I think it makes all the sense in the world. I remember, of course, the great Buddy Bell here with the Rangers was my manager in Detroit. I threw a first pitch changeup to a hitter one time. He said, "Well, what are you changing up from?" I said, "Well, okay, semantically that does make sense, but it's an off-speed pitch, and you're looking for a guy sitting on a fastball, hopefully getting him out front." Those days are over. You throw whatever you want, whenever you want.
Was it soft to go with anything other than a fastball?
I think that was probably the game that hitters were playing with pitchers, and we finally smartened up.
And a man enough to throw a fastball on the first pitch, and everyone knows it's coming? That's nuts. 0-2 on Corey Seager. What a great start it has been for Corey. Missed that long stretch with the hamstring injury, but hitting .360. And he watches a 50-foot pitch right there.
Let's get to some StatCast powered by Google Cloud, and looking at Corey Seager back and swinging the bat really well. This double that he hit yesterday at nearly 114 miles an hour, that is the second hardest hit of his pretty lengthy career. So an impressive double from Corey Seager that we got to see in last night's ball game.
1-2. Stay alive.
How about that? Since he's come off the IL.
Just to be real clear, that's unusual. You're not you don't expect any hitter to come back after missing a month to drive the ball like that quickly and easily. And he takes strike 3 here. Seager down looking. 2 away. So Seabold off to a good beginning here with the first inning. Now we'll work to Nathaniel Lowe. Seabold, 27 years old. He was born in Laguna Hills, California, and then stayed in state to play his college baseball at Cal State Fullerton. And he slings one in there, a slider for strike 1 to Nathaniel Lowe. Drafted in 2017, a 3rd-round pick by the Phillies. And another strike. Time with the fastball, 0-2. Eventually the Phillies traded him to the Red Sox, and then this year before spring training he was designated for assignment by the Sox. 0-2. That's low and in. Did he go? No swing, according to Lance Barrett down there at third base. So the Rockies claimed him And now Seaball, this is just his 10th big league start. Whoa, hammers that foul.
He worked his way through the minor league system predominantly as a starter. Saw him make some starts. You mentioned the Boston Red Sox, a couple of different seasons, and this year a few more relief appearances, but they are very thin right now in Colorado, dealing with some injuries and some struggles. Just trying to find arms to fill out the rotation back end, the bullpen back end, meaning more of the longer guys. Not fun to manage when your pitching staff is struggling as badly as they are right now for Bud Black.
Put Siebold in an interesting spot today. They need innings out of him. The 1-2, and Nathaniel hits it hard out to the alley in left field. That one on the ground and racing all the way out to the warning track. Got some steam on it, and Lowe cruises into second with a 2-out double.
He smoked that line drive to the opposite field. A little bit of a worm burner out there. No worms here, by the way, at Globe Life Field, but he smoked it. 110 miles an hour. He was on it. Nice low line drive from Nathaniel Lowe, and he just had a chance to be a double because of how hard he hit it. And the outfielders just could not cut it off any earlier.
Well, that was a shot for a ball that never really got off the ground. Adolis Garcia, the batter now. And he will take strike one. Boy, just a ridiculous start for El Bombi, who leads Major League Baseball with those 49 RBIs, and he leads the American League with those 14 home runs. It's fouled off, 0-2. And if you want to go through and parse the numbers this way or that, the other thing that stands out when you look at Adolis' numbers, and they stand out on their own, you don't need to break them down, but the numbers at home dwarf those on the road. I mean, he's been really productive here. 0-2, and that's up the middle. To his left is Tovar. He bobbles, but his throw to first is in time. And they get Garcia to end the inning. The Rangers will leave a man. So an inning in the books this afternoon. No score.
Rangers and the Rockies, and we talk about it all the time, how things look on paper leaving spring training. You know, you think you've got a good rotation, you've got a good offensive lineup, you've got all these things on paper, but you have to wait and see how they play out. We heard them talk about the depth that they were building, and it really came into play early in the season. And when you look at the way Dane Dunning and Ezekiel Duran have stepped up when Jacob deGrom and Corey Seager went out, it really does reinforce that fact that they did build that depth, and it gives confidence not only in this coaching staff, but also to the other members of the team. The fact that it's not just a one-man show on the offense or the rotation, and it really is a next man up mentality. And when you see those guys perform the way that they have, it really does instill a great deal of confidence in everyone involved in the organization.
And it's going to pay dividends over the course of the full season too, right? What Dane Dunning has done, eventually we're going to get, of course, Jacob deGrom back. But what happens when somebody else may need a breather?
Owen down to third base, diving stop, Young to throw to first, and Lowe couldn't quite squeeze it. It's not clear that it necessarily would have beaten Grichuk anyway. It's a base hit for Grichuk to start the second.
Almost an unbelievable play here. There's Josh Young. Good look at his pre-pitch. Does a great job getting up quickly. And it was the longer hop, but it was up the line a little bit. If this hop is at Nathaniel Lowe, they probably get the out here, and you'd be seeing that play all day long and all night long on the highlight shows. It's a good effort by Nathaniel. He was there, but not an easy one to handle.
Yeah, that definitely would have beaten Grichuk. Heck of a play. Again, Josh Young, I don't know that you could have expected the kind of defense that he has provided this year at third. I mean, he has been really good. As Moustakas bats now, and he takes ball one.
I'd say put that on the list that Emily was just going through. Some of the, the backup guys, you're not sure what you're going to get. And I would say with Josh Young's defense, I think that was out there a little bit. Not sure who he was going to be. We got a little bit of a glimpse last year. But he has been tremendous.
We'll put that on the first page.
What's that?
On the second page of the list.
Yeah, that wasn't on the first page, but it was on the list.
He has been so good. 1-1. And that one off the plate to Moustakas. Same list has been Duran's defense at third base, or rather shortstop.
Agreed.
You know, we thought, okay, he can go ahead and fill in there and just kind of keep things stable while Seager's gone. Well, he's been outstanding defensively. 2-1. Boy, that's a close one. 3 balls and a strike to Moustakas. Veteran slugger Mike Moustakas. Only 2 home runs so far this year for him. He's been at it for 13 years in the big leagues. And he fouls that one back. It's a full count.
I was a little surprised to see him in there this afternoon. We saw Charlie Blackmon getting the day off. Andrew Heaney has handled lefties very well this year.
A full count. Second inning in a row where the Rockies get a leadoff single. Grichuk leads, and that is ball 4. So Moustakas draws the walk, and the first 2 men are on.
So we're talking about Josh Jung and the great defense that he's provided this year over at third base. Let's take a look at some of what we have seen from the rookie third baseman on the run against the Atlanta Braves. Very nice play. This one was in Oakland. Diving to his right, somewhat similar play that we just saw him try to make. We've seen him go to his left as well. And he's shown range in a lot of different directions as Josh Jung this season.
Now a bunt laid down. Young charging, gloves, throws to first, and it's in time. Got a real nice bunt by Doyle to move up the runners.
Doyle's wondering if the Rockies are going to take a look at this. He feels like he may have beaten that. It was a tremendous bunt. You're not going to do it any better than that in a sacrifice situation. And yes, the Colorado Rockies are going to challenge this. Let's take a look. I think the only thing there that if you really want to get nitpicky, and that is close, is that he fielded that in the middle of his body. So it took him just a little bit longer on the exchange as opposed to maybe on the side.
That's the look right there. I think from that look we can get a real sense.
Ooh, that's tough. Is there enough there?
No. It's very difficult to say. But it does not take away from the fact that Doyle laid down a really good bunt. So right here, let's see. Look for the ball, look for the foot, and boy, and from that angle, it looks like the foot got down.
Yeah, I don't like that angle. He looks safe on that one. I like the other one where he looked out, or inconclusive.
Yeah. That is splitting some hairs right there, but
the runner is safe.
Yep.
Colorado will retain their challenge.
How about that? So that was the look. I think the other ones would have been inconclusive, but a bunt single for Doyle, and the bases are loaded. The Rockies, it's their 8th successful challenge this year, and they've hit on a 50-50 rate on their challenges. Here's Trejo now.
Let's see if Andrew Heaney can make the Rockies the first team in MLB history to load the bases with nobody out in back-to-back games in the first and second inning on a weekend and not score. I'm not going to look it up.
With the roof open for one and
That's
closed for the other. I don't think there's any question. That's history. 1-1.
It's got to happen first, but there's a chance.
Right. The strikeout here would be the proper trick for Heaney if he can get Trejo. Then you can set up that double play ground ball. 1-2 the count. I'm not trying to script the darn thing, but I'm just saying that if I were to put it together, that's probably how I go about it.
And I'll tell you, that's how you think about it right now. Once you get to 2 strikes, you don't think about it until you get there. You don't want to try to strike a guy out before you get to 2 strikes. You usually fall behind approaching an at-bat like that.
That's pretty close. 2-2.
That's a great 1-2 pitch. Frustrating when you don't get the swing. That's that good Andrew Heaney fastball.
Longer hold And the 2-2 pitch, a foul ball.
So fastball up and in for a ball, slider in there. He has used the changeup already, and Trejo has seen it. And you look at kind of pitching 101. That's something that may follow. And could go back with that fastball as well.
Heaney has not recorded a strikeout yet today. It's 2-2 in the air, foul.
So that was the changeup, but you saw this earlier. See how that cut back and finished down and in? He wants that pitch away. He doesn't really have much of that natural fade to his changeup like a lot of lefties do. He doesn't throw a two-seam fastball that runs away from right-handed hitters. Jonah really wanted that pitch away on the outside corner.
Runners with their leads again. And Heaney gets him to swing and miss at the changeup. And there is his first strikeout.
That's the one that Jonah wanted the previous pitch, and this is a great adjustment from Andrew Heaney after cutting a changeup, staying through this one, turning it over. It's a really nice in-game adjustment, pitch to pitch from Andrew Heaney.
Is that probably the best time to do that? Right off one where you feel like you didn't get it right?
As long as you think you can do it. I mean, you got the bases loaded, nobody out. You make the same mistake twice, and big league hitters usually make you pay.
Austin Wins takes upstairs here. Ball one.
If you are so confident that you can stay through it and you'll turn it over and it does what it's supposed to do, absolutely. But if you're iffy on that pitch and you're even a little bit concerned about cutting it again, then it's not the right call.
There's a strike. I really, for some reason, I liked it. It's like you know, taking a second swing on the same golf shot or something. You know,
yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I feel like I can get that one. Let's try it again.
Except this one counts.
Yeah, exactly. 1-1. Believe me, depending on whom you're playing, that second one can count too on the course. Good numbers for Wins with the bases loaded. He's been well traveled recently. Claimed off waivers from the Dodgers earlier this month. Started the season with the Giants. So already on his third team of the year. And he lifts it out to right field. That one will slice up into the stands. Wins originally drafted by Baltimore in 2013 out of Cal State Fresno. Southern California guy. On ball, 2 strikes. And here it comes from Heaney. And a bouncer back to the mound. Heaney will go to the plate for one. On to first, double play, inning over. So he's done it. Got out of the bases loaded, nobody out, jam.
Exactly how you scripted it, maybe, right? We talked about the strikeout and then the double play. Great execution on a pitch inside, and there is the 1-2-3 double play to get out of the jam.
Well, scoreless beginning today with that roof open. Gorgeous afternoon here at Globe Life Field. You know, the MLB Ballpark app will complete your next visit to Globe Life Field. Download it now, the MLB Ballpark app. Well, Josh Young starts things off here in the second inning. He takes a strike. It'll be Young, Jonah Heim, Robbie Grossman. Excellent work by Andrew Heaney to once again get out of a ticklish spot there in the second. And he turns that 1-2-3 double play to complete the second. He did the exact same thing in that last start in Oakland. Got a 1-2-3, although that one he barehanded it. That was even more impressive. Ball and 2 strikes on Young. Josh with the average at 257. He struggled a little bit on that road trip. I don't know if struggled is the right word, but slowed down a little bit anyway. 2-2. I think there was some hope for him that maybe on this homestand he'd get going again, and that's largely been the case. Hitting .385 on the homestand. He takes off the plate, full count.
I think it's worth probably keeping an eye on him in this road trip. You and I talked about it the other day. some new ballparks, getting settled, getting comfortable on the road. Maybe that part of it for Josh Jung as he makes his way around the league.
Smashes that ball deep out to left. It is gone. 9th home run of the year for Josh Jung. And the Rangers score first today.
Josh Jung gets himself a 92-mile-an-hour fastball to handle in a really good count here. Just looking for a strike is Seabald. He elevated that definitely more than he wanted to. And Josh Jung makes him pay with that really good right-handed swing. There's a baseball up for grabs out there somewhere. So compare this to yesterday. The Rockies load the bases in the first inning. Nobody out, they don't score. The Rangers come back next inning, score 4. They get the bases loaded again. They don't score. The Rangers come back, first batter, hit a home run. Such a momentum shift, and when you're on a bad team and things are not going well, it's so disheartening to see opportunities slip away, and then the other team just kind of rip that any momentum you had right from you.
It's a big swing by Jung after the big play by Andrew Heaney, the 0-2 to Jonah Heim, and he fouls that one away. I mentioned last inning that for Seabald, he's in a bit of a spot today for this Rockies team. And their bullpen has been good, but it's been used heavily. They're short on starters. They just flat need innings out of Seabald today. So good or bad, I'm not sure how much that's going to matter for Bud Black. He's going to have to get whatever he can out of Seabald to save some arms. Heim lifts this into short left field. Profar racing in, and there's the first down of the inning.
So along the lines of what you were talking about for the Colorado Rockies, the bullpen we saw yesterday, 4 pitchers, and then of course Peter Lambert threw 45. First game of the series. They did make a call up in Matt Caracidi today. He comes up from the minor leagues, those 17 pitches, of course, in AAA with Albuquerque. So yeah, they've been a little bit busy down there.
Robbie Grossman now, and he'll take strike 1.
What you didn't see on that graphic was Fernando Abad, who also pitched, but was designated for assignment today.
Yeah, and Abad, I wondered if, I think the idea was maybe to get some length out of him yesterday, but he just ran into trouble. Gave up a couple of home runs, and they couldn't quite get the outs out of him that they had wanted. Grossman batting 7th today. Robbie having a good home stand. 6 for 20 so far. Driven in 5 runs. It's 2-2. And he's working on a 6-game hitting streak. Two pitch. And that is launched foul. And out of play. Those are fun. Those look majestic.
Especially with the roof open.
Yeah.
A lot more fun to track those.
Seabald delivers this one on the ground. Trejo is on top of it. Grossman turned back, and there are 2 away. Let's hear from Champion Energy.
High knees, high knees, proud chest, high knees, proud chest, high knees.
It's nice of you to film that commercial for them.
Ezekiel Duran batting 8th today. He takes strike 1. We were talking about history last inning. Rangers getting out of early jams, bases loaded, nobody out. Back-to-back games. How about this today with Duran? He has to start at shortstop. Ezequiel Tovar has the start for Colorado. First time in Major League history to Ezequiel's starting at shortstop against one another.
Wow.
Thanks to Stats Inc. for digging out that little nugget.
Sounds like a stat of biblical proportions there, Dave.
Nice. Hey, they even checked for alternate spellings of Ezekiel. And there's no question it is absolutely the first time. But how about this? Even if you disregard the positions, it's only the second time that it's happened that an Ezekiel has started on one side of the field against an Ezekiel on the other side of the field. That was yesterday.
Yeah.
Duran was the DH.
Been playing this game for a long time.
One-two.
Another way to kind of, which is also amazes me sometimes. So we haven't. It's too early to get the attendance, but maybe what 30 or so thousand again. We saw it yesterday, at least that. All the people that are here represent more people that ever played in Major League Baseball by about 5,000.
Wow.
You could take every big leaguer that's ever played the game,
And you
put them in a stadium, and you have a smaller crowd, and still have probably room for about 6,000 more seats. Less than that. We're getting close to 25,000 players. So that might be why we haven't seen that many Ezekiels.
Yeah.
You think there's 2 Ezekiels in the ballpark today?
Well, yeah.
Outside of on the field. Fans, Dave, fans.
I hate to state the obvious. Yeah, I think there is. I don't know why. That one really caught me because I just don't think of it as that unusual a name. I feel like we've seen it on a handful of rosters already this year. Apparently not.
We're actually at 22,937 big leaguers in history.
There's ball 4, and Duran has drawn another walk, and that's the second time he's done that on this homestand. So the inning gets a little longer for Seabold. In fact, this next offering will be his 25th of the inning.
So I tell you what gets you talking to yourself a little bit when you're having your pitchers meetings and they say something like they probably said about Ezequiel Duran. You can't walk this guy. You can try to walk him. You can't walk him. And then you walk him. That'll drive you crazy. I thought this guy swung at everything they said.
Yeah. And so what he does is he gives Taveras a chance with a man on base. Coyote 1 for 3 yesterday with a walk. He's had a great month of May. Seabold delivers, and that is a swing and a miss. A .368 average for the month. A home run and 3 doubles. And that has jumped the Taveras batting average up to .288. Toss over there, and they check in on Duran. He does have 3 steals. Nothing. Rangers on top early on here on a Sunday afternoon. And that ball hit hard out to the alley in left field. Duran got a good start. He'll head to third. I was going to say we're going to stop him there. They do. The throw was offline, missed the cutoff man. Unfortunately backed up by McMahon for the Rockies, and the Rangers have him on the corners.
It's good base running by Ezequiel Duran. Doyle's got a really strong arm. As we take a look at this fastball, it is right down the middle. Mentioned in our open today that Leody Taveras has been one of the best in the American League this month when you talk about batting average. This throw was just way offline. I don't think they would have gotten Duran anyway, but he knew he had to hurry. Doyle's averaging 96 miles an hour on his hardest throws from the outfield when you kind of take the top 10% of throws. Duran knew that. He knew he had to be aggressive. An average center fielder, you get to third easily.
Well, that brings up one of the better hitters in the American League. How about a 10-game hitting streak going for Simeon? He grounded out in the first inning. If you put men on base or in scoring position for Marcus, the numbers go haywire. First pitch to him, and he hammers it out into left field. That's a base hit. Another run is in. Around second, Tavares. Beasley waving him from third. He'll come to the plate without a throw. It's a two-run double by Marcus Semien, and the Rangers lead 3-0. A two-out rally that began with the Ezekiel Duran walk.
You mentioned it, Dave. We've seen it all year long from Marcus Semien, one of the best with runners in scoring position. This is a little slider that sits in the middle of the plate. They're trying to get it away. Marcus barrels it up. We see so much of that pull power, his ability to slug. Most of it comes to the pull side, and there it is once again for Marcus Semien.
He's in scoring position for Seager, and Siebold trying to remove him from the bases. A good quick move back to second. Seager was 3 for 4 with a home run and a double yesterday. He's been crushing the baseball. And Siebold's first pitch, there's a swing and a miss. Going to be a really long inning now for Connor Siebold. This will be his 30th pitch. And he did get Seager looking in the first. I have a feeling he's not going to get him looking again. 0-2.
As you remember, it was a fastball, 94 miles an hour, right at the bottom of the strike zone. Corey thought it might have been outside of the strike zone. We know how aggressive he is, especially early in counts. I'm with you. I think regardless of what happens, you'll see Corey Seager going down fighting.
A simple base hit should score another run. Even a complicated base hit would score a run. There's a step off by Siebold. You were the one who pointed out a moment ago. Yesterday, when the Rockies blew their bases loaded, nobody out spot in the first, Rangers came back for 4 runs in the very next half inning, and here it is again. 3 runs are already in. 0-2. And Seager stays alive.
So if you like symmetry, of course, we want to see that base hit. We want to see that run score and do the same thing in back-to-back games. Or if you don't like symmetry and you just want to see Corey Seager hit a home run and make it 5, I'm on board with that too.
Yeah. Rangers have already fouled off 15 of Siebold's pitches today. He's 5 outs into the game. Long hold. And that's up. 1-2 on Seager. Hander readies again. Semien off second. A couple of jump steps toward third, but doesn't go anywhere. 2-2. Still providing a bit of a distraction for Siebold. Another chance for Seager, and he'll take in full count. And Siebold was out in front of him, but now in danger of putting him on for Nathaniel Lowe. And there are bodies beginning to move about in that Rockies bullpen. Second inning. And this is a bullpen that has been used a lot. Payoff to Seager, and he swings and launches that one deep out to right field. It is gone. Two-run blast for Corey Seager. It's 5-0. You asked for it.
That is way better than symmetry for sure. As we take a look at this pitch and kind of a get-me-over slider right into the power zone of Corey Seager, down and in. He did a great job in this at-bat. Remember, he was down 0-2, continued to foul off some tough pitches until he could get the one that he wanted. He got it, didn't miss it. Another home run for Corey Seager, and more runs here for the Rangers early.
Now Lowe shoots one down the left side, foul. A 5-run second inning. 13 times now the Rangers have done that. They continue to build on the already league leading total. Oh, and 2 on Nathaniel, who doubled in the first. 5 runs, 5 hits. And Lowe strikes out swinging to end the inning. Pretty good inning though. Started with Josh Young on a full count pitch. He goes yard, 9th time this year. Seager never to be outdone. A 2-run blast to cap it. A 5-run second inning. Oh, what a beautiful scene this afternoon. So what you could see from that angle was a 5-0 Rangers lead. It's also fun to see so many folks in the ballpark watching a first-place Rangers team. 1-strike pitch from Heaney. That one up the middle. Nice backhand pick by Semien. And there's your first out of the inning. Tovar retired, 1 away. So the Rangers got out of a jam in the top of the second inning, came back and then scored 5 runs in the bottom half. That's the 13th time this year they have scored at least 5 runs in an inning. Just a staggering number, especially when you compare it to the rest of baseball. We know the Tampa Bay Rays, they've gotten off to an awesome start in the American League East. That is a really good ball club, and they've done it 11 times, but the Rangers 13 times.
Starting to wonder how many times they did it last year. Outside chance they passed that number already.
Oh, I would guess that they have. Right? I mean, it happens, right? Obviously, teams do it. Good teams and bad teams. But I would guess that that's more than they did last year. Bouncer third base. Nice job by Young, who is left. And he throws out Profar. 2 away, and we check in with Emily.
Well, we talked earlier this week about Marcus Semien and how good he's been with runners in scoring position, and it's really not just Marcus. This team overall is so good with runners in scoring position, and I asked Bruce Bochy about it, and he said, look, we have guys that want to be in those situations, that relish those opportunities, and so to see it, you know, kind of translate the way that it has, that desire to be there, and then to, you know, execute the way that they have is obviously a big part of why this offense has been so successful to start the season.
Yeah, a couple things there. I think one, of course, having the experience really helps. And if you look at the guys that have done it for the most part, these are some of the older players that have been around or comfortable in those situations. And kind of pairing with what Emily said there, guys that want to be there because they know there's good things that are going to happen and they're up for those big moments, and they've seen pitchers come at them with their absolute best with runners on base.
2-1 to Ryan McMahon. I think at this point too, the fact that so many different Rangers have excelled in these spots makes it impossible for guys to pitch around anyone in the lineup. That's popped up foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes on McMahon. It doesn't matter if it's Ezekiel Duran, Adolis Garcia, Nathaniel Lowe, Semien, Seager. That's great. Jonah Heim. 2-2. We'll do it again. So it's not like you can just be careful.
No.
With Garcia as an example and say, well, I'm not going to challenge him too much because you got Jonah Heim coming or Josh Young coming. There's a swing and a miss. A strikeout for Andrew Heaney, his second of the afternoon, and it seems that Andrew Heaney is kind of climbed into that easy chair now. We go to the bottom of the third, 5-0. As we go to the third inning, Adolis Garcia leading it off. And how about his ranks in the American League at home? These are home game ranks now. 10 home runs in this ballpark already this year. 29 RBIs. Those are both easily best in the American League. I'll take high for ball one. He grounded out in the first inning. Rangers trying to build off a 5-run second inning. Let's see if they can knock Seabold out early. It's 1-1. The way things look right now, they will knock Seabold out relatively early. Almost at 60 pitches already. 2-1 the count.
Yeah, we saw guys moving around a little bit as that inning was getting long, but you kind of brought this up earlier and wondering if he's going to be put in a position, as long as the pitch count doesn't get ridiculous, that he may have to wear it a little bit if the offense continues to swing it the way that they did last inning.
A tough spot for a guy sometimes, but I think if you, I don't know, would you let a guy know that beforehand? You wouldn't, right?
No, you don't want to put a guy in that spot and say, oh, by the way, just, you know, if you're getting hit around, you're staying out there.
If you're getting lit, just put your arms up around your head.
Don't look in the dugout. We're not coming to get you. Guys have been in the spot and they understand the moments. They're very well aware of what's going on with the bullpen, and you're giving it everything you have to try to eat up some innings.
Full count here on Garcia. Well, he's gone on some pretty deep counts early as well, right? It was a full count to Josh Young before he homered. It was a full count to Corey Seager before he homered. The payoff pitch, and Garcia takes ball 4. So he's using a lot of pitches here and getting very little return. Well, when we come back in June, which is kind of a crazy thing to say, but that's the next time the Rangers will be home. It'll be the Mariners in town, June 2nd through the 4th. And you can get your tickets now at Rangers.com. Rangers currently, or rather Mariners currently, a game under 500, 22-23. And 6 games behind the Rangers in the standings. There's a strike to Josh Young.
It's been a little bit of a surprise to see them struggling with as good of a pitching staff as they have in Seattle, but also makes them dangerous too. They're another team, because of their pitching, you feel like they'll be in every game. It'll be a good series when the Rangers get off the long road trip.
It's only 2 on Young.
See his rookie ranks for Josh Young. Those 9 home runs, tied for first with James Outman from the Los Angeles Dodgers. His RBIs, his hits, all in the top 2. He'll have a shot at that Rookie of the Year if things continue, no doubt. You compare that to the last pitch, and they're probably in the same spot. Now, the difference was the previous pitch was a slider, and that one was a fastball. Josh didn't like the last call, and I would agree with him. It was probably out of the strike zone. The frustrating part of it on top of that is that the first pitch was probably in off the plate. So now you're talking about having to cover both in and away and a couple of inches off. That's not a fun day for a hitter.
2 balls and 2 strikes. So again, it will be another fairly deep count here for Seabold. He should have walked last inning as part of that 5-run uprising. He should have walked to start this inning. Is 2-2. That's a swing and a miss. Yeah, strikeout of Young. Couldn't stop himself. 1 away.
If you go back and look at all the pitches in that at bat, I'm not sure a single one of them was actually in the strike zone. I think he probably felt a little pressure to swing this one because there was a pitch inside that was called a strike earlier, and he tried to stop himself. It ended up being a backup slider. Wow, I didn't realize that at first. He was trying to put his slider on the outside corner. He missed in off the plate. It just spun there and didn't do anything. And an indication for me that Seabold is getting tired.
That one well off the inside, and a quick throw down on Garcia. The next pitch will be the 70th of the afternoon for Seabold. His career high in his 9 previous big league starts, 86 pitches. So that's not far off. The difference, of course, being that he's only managed 7 outs to this point. It's not like he's at 70 pitches in the 5th. So there's been some high stress pitches. They piled up in a hurry on him. It's 1-0 to Jonah, is outside.
So now you're just sitting on that mistake right now, right? You see one that was missed pretty far in, one that was missed pretty far away. Same thing, go back to the Josh Young at bat. And now for Jonah, it's a matter of staying patient, sitting on one pitch in one spot, knowing that there's a decent chance a mistake is coming soon. And then you go after it.
2-0. Jonah way out in front. He pulled the string on him.
I'm telling you, I think that's Josh Young saw what, 6 pitches? 7, 8, 9. I don't think one's been in the strike zone of the last 9 pitches he's thrown.
None of this at bat, yeah.
Now 2 pitches were called strikes against Josh Young, but I don't think they were strikes.
Here's a 2-1 and a bouncer first base side, and that one took a moment to get to Moustakas, and he does feed Siebold for the 2nd out of the inning. Goalie's out at second base with 2 outs, and he'll bring up Robbie Grossman. How about the bottom third of the order for the Rangers as a group? 298 average this month. And getting on base better than 36% of the time, and that slugging percentage over .450, second best. I mean, they have really been good down at the bottom of Bruce Bochy's lineup. Strike 1 to Grossman. Robbie grounded out last inning. He hits this one the opposite way foul for strike 2. Caracetti, who was just called up today. He was loosening earlier in the bullpen for Colorado, doing it again now here in the 3rd. It's tight. 1-2 the count.
So this is wild. They keep track of this stuff as it go along. The amount of pitches this inning, or percentage of pitches in the strike zone this inning for Siebold, 13%. Now league average sits around just under 50%. It's about the number of actually in the strike zone. 13% of his pitches have actually been in the zone this inning.
That's what, probably 2. It's pulled foul.
This thing lags a little bit, so it's a couple of pitches behind, but we're at about 19, 20 pitches for the inning.
Grossman trying to stay patient, see if he can get a good one to drive here. A ball and 2 strikes. He has Garcia in scoring position. Already 5-0 Rangers. The 1-2. Siebold having a long time. He misses badly with that one.
All right, so let me ask you this. You think there's any chance, who saw Ramon DeJesus was the home plate umpire the first game of the series, very wide zone.
Yep.
The home plate umpire today is Charlie Ramos with DeJesus at second. They watch each other all the time.
Yeah.
I wonder if they pick up on their tendencies, because there's some similarities here today, for sure.
It's interesting. That one looked good. Strike 3 called, and he just did shave off the edge of the plate. And the Rangers leave a man in scoring position. 4th inning coming up here this afternoon. Rangers on top 5-0.
Rangers pitching staff the last couple of days. This was John Gray finishing off his first inning at bases loaded and nobody out. And then this afternoon we see Andrew Heaney pulling that same trick, except he played a little defense on his own with this 1-2-3 double play. And how about this, with the bases loaded, which team do you think has the lowest batting average against as a pitching staff? You guessed it, The Los Angeles Dodgers.
Wow, wait, that wasn't what I guessed.
The Rangers sit right in the middle. They're at 250. League average is about 259. They've done a good job with the bases loaded as their pitching staff. The Dodgers at 097. That's ridiculous.
I feel like you tricked me.
I did.
You set me up. 1-1 pitch. And this one on the ground up the middle. Chris Bryant is on to start the 4th inning.
You can tell by the swing, this was the changeup from Andrew Heaney. Elevated just a little bit, but still somewhat off the end of the bat. And actually, you see Chris Bryant hitting the top half of the ball. He had him sort of off balance, just not quite enough.
So Bryant on first. It brings up Randall Grichuk. He reached on an infield hit his last time up, but barely, because it was just a terrific defensive effort by Josh Young at third base. He very nearly got him at first. And Heaney, by and large, has been able to handle Grichuk well over the years. This one got in on his hands. It's popped up near second base. Duran waiting patiently. And there's the first out of the inning. Let's hear from Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
Fun, games, relaxation, or excitement. We've got all your bases covered at Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
One out. Here is Moustakas. 5-0 Rangers lead. Bryant, the base runner, and Moustakas way out in front of the breaking ball. Strike one. Another guy who's been well handled by Andrew Heaney over the years. To the tune of that 1-for-9 effort. He walked last inning, or last time up rather, 2 innings ago. Heaney, a perfect 3rd inning, had retired 5 in a row prior to the Bryant single to start the 4th here. And this is popped up into short left field. Plenty of time for Grossman.
I got something fun for you. We didn't get to this yesterday. We just ran out of time. But John Gray has the most strikeouts in a game in Rockies franchise history. Punched out 16 in a game one time early in his career, his first full year. There was a player in that lineup who's been on the Rangers this year that did not strike out.
So when you say in the lineup against
that day,
Gray that day?
Correct, against John Gray, he punched out 16.
And there was somebody in that lineup on the Rangers.
Yep,
did not strike out that day?
Did not strike out.
Corey Seager.
Incorrect.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Corey. Check your source.
Wrong team,
Oh.
but right division. Who's put on a Ranger uniform this year that might have played against John Gray back in 2016 when he punched out 16 but did not strike out?
Sandy Leon?
No.
Robbie Grossman?
No.
I don't like this game.
I'm gonna call a friend. Let's take you back to what we're talking about. 2016, the franchise leader single game strikeout record came back in 2016. Oh, now you guys are going to give it away a little bit.
Oh,
John Gray. Well, you're not going to see this guy strike out because he didn't strike out, but now you know the team, and that's a different John Gray. The emotions there, pretty exciting, young looking. Look like Metallica John Gray.
Obviously, from that video, the trick here that you're employing is that this guy is no longer playing. He's a coach. It's Will.
No coach.
No, it's Will Venable.
Also incorrect.
No, but that's
no,
what
I said
I'm trying to tell you. I'm giving you the answer.
Telling you he has played for the Rangers this year. Has played in a game for the Rangers this year. I love it. Nothing more fun than stumping a Stanford man.
1 ball and 2 strikes, the count on Doyle. definitely have me pretty well.
I'm not
Brad Miller.
I don't love giving hints. Not Brad Miller. See if you can figure it out, Dave.
Comment. Oh!
There he is.
As we go to the bottom of the fourth inning, Ezekiel Duran will lead things off. How about Zeke getting the start at shortstop today? And you look at the production from both Ezekiel Duran on your right, Corey Seager on your left. Missed that big chunk of time with the hamstring injury. Hasn't really mattered which one Bruce Bochy puts in there. They have both delivered. And Duran fouls that one away for strike one. Seager DHing today. Duran getting the start at short. And between the two of them, they have scored twice, driven in two. Duran with a walk and a run scored. Seager with a home run. Count 0-2 now on Duran. It's a fun note about Duran. It's interesting, right? Generally, when you see a note like that, that does not equate to a lot of success. Normally, guys who see more pitches seem to have more success. It's just a very general rule. And Bruce Bochy's made the point several times that you can't just put the same sort of rules and structures on every hitter. Some guys are just different the way they go about things. And then in the case of Duran, Bochy just flat out loves the way he plays. And the way he goes out, and he's aggressive. We get it. He goes after it. But it works for him. And it might not work for him to be patient, try to see a lot of pitches, and that kind of thing. 1-2. And he hits it high in the air out to right field. Grichuk coming in and near the line. One out in the fourth. We check in with Emily.
Well, we've talked about the versatility of Ezekiel Duran, and yesterday we brought up, would Boch play him at first base, and he did allude to that. So today I put him, kind of under the fire and said, hey, when are we going to see Zeke at first? And he said, you know what, you might see it on this road trip. He said Nathaniel does not like to come out of the game. He doesn't like to not play, but he's going to need a blow at some point, and it might be on this road trip, and he feels very comfortable putting Ezekiel Duran at first base.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the probables for this upcoming series, but that certainly would come into play, right? You find that lefty that maybe is not a great matchup for Nathaniel. That seems like it'd be an ideal time to do it. No doubt they'll see a couple of left-handed starters. But it's not just left-right, it's also which kind of starter, right? They dig so much deeper now these days than just those standard splits. Everybody's going to benefit. We were talking about this earlier with both him and Dane Dunning, and how they can spell guys, whether it's in the rotation for Dane Dunning or Duran in multiple positions. It's going to give guys breaks, and I get it. You don't want to come out of the game, and you appreciate guys that don't want to do it, but we've seen the studies, we've seen the information now that teams have dug in more than ever on this, and the rest is beneficial.
2-strike pitch from Siebold.
Just don't call it load management. I just don't like that phrase. It's a fun phrase.
Well, we've got the back-to-back day games in different cities on this next road trip too. That's kind of a weird one. A day game in Baltimore followed the next day with a day game in Detroit. So there might be an opportunity in there somewhere for Nathaniel to get a day off. That would make some sense. There is a built-in day off on Thursday for everybody. Like, everybody on the team will get that day off. 1-2 pitch. Tavares earns another one.
So no doubt frustrating today for Seabold. He's had 11 at-bats here today where he's gotten 0-2 on Rangers hitters. They're 3 for 11 so far in those spots. Tavares was down 0-2 so far in this at-bat. But so far, 273 batting average, league average 162 after 0-2.
2 pitch is on the corner, strike 3 called, and Tavares strikes out for the second out here in the fourth inning. It's 5 strikeouts now for Siebold. Talking about the next road trip, it starts in Pittsburgh tomorrow. 3-day series against the Pirates, currently tied for the lead in the National League Central. And then it's on to Baltimore, one of the really good teams in the American League East. That'll be over the weekend with Thursday off in Baltimore. And then to Detroit, who's off to a pretty decent start themselves. Siebold is done, and we'll get into that Rockies bullpen here with the fourth. Our Chalk Talk Casinos and Resorts game within the game. And the game within the game really has been the work of this bullpen for Colorado. A great start to the year, but it has been a very tough series. And their numbers coming into this were good for the month of May, but the Rangers' first 2 days of this series have really made light work of them. As Matt Carasetti is the new pitcher. Yeah, take a look here. So for the first almost 3 weeks of May, a 2.52 ERA and a 2.07 batting average against with runners in scoring position. But once the Rangers got a hold of him, a lot of these numbers have darn near doubled.
That was a concern coming in, that this bullpen was throwing as well as they had been. And knowing if the Rockies could hand it off with a lead, that there was a decent chance that they could hold it. But fortunately for the Rangers, they've really done a nice job coming out and scoring runs against this Rocky staff. 7 in game 1, 11 yesterday, and 5 so far here today. So
in the dirt.
Carasetti had a 4 ERA in Albuquerque, which is like a 1.5 anywhere else. We've talked a lot about how difficult it is to pitch in Albuquerque. That team ERA over there, over 7.5. The guy that's bounced around a little bit.
Two to Simeon, and learn another.
But a guy that's come out of a place that some have dubbed Pitcher U. St. John's University. Maybe they haven't.
Some.
John Franco, and Frank Viola. That's about it.
Full count to Simeon. It's actually a pretty good little group.
They had a nice run there in the 80s. Had a World Series appearance. Had one of the greatest college games ever between Frank Viola and Ron Darling. Multiple no-hitters going into extra innings.
And there's ball 4. Simeon takes the 2-out walk.
Let's take you back to Corey Seager's last at-bat in the second inning. He fell behind in the count 0-2 and eventually got himself a pitch that he could handle. A little slider at 88 miles an hour, and he pulls it to the right side for a 2-run home run. Third home run of the season for Corey Seager. 383 feet.
First pitch in there for a strike to Seager this time.
That's a good complaint to lodge right there from Corey Seager. But again, we have seen it here today. Both sides, inside, outside, has been available off the plate and slightly above the strike zone.
Good fastball. 0-2.
He's got a good arm, 96 miles an hour. Has not pitched in the big league since 2019. It's been a while.
Yeah. He debuted with the Rockies in 2016. Originally drafted in 2012. And he strikes out Seager. And the inning is done. Rangers will leave a man. So Carasetti, nice job coming into the 4th inning. 5th inning coming up with the Rangers leading 5-0.
Andrew Heaney's last strikeout was a 94-mile-an-hour fastball located up and in to Doyle, and that's something he does well. As we show you our AT&T Fiber fast pitch, Andrew Heaney's horizontal movement on his 4-seam fastball, second best in the game. Now we see Eovaldi in there as well, and what that means is how much does your fastball fight gravity or not be affected by gravity, and the ability for it to have good horizontal movement, stay at the top of the zone. Andrew Heaney's one of the best in baseball, so while you don't see 98 to 100, that fastball right there plays up quite a bit because of the horizontal movement.
It's 2-0 here to Trejo. Bottom third of the order for the Rockies, and there's a strike. Trejo struck out swinging in the second inning. One of 3 strikeout victims so far today. Austin Wynns would be next, and then
Ezekiel Tovar. And there's a swing and a miss. 2-2. Heaney's 9th start of the year. And a really large percentage of them have been here at home. It's his 6th home start of the 9 starts he's made. The 2-2. It's fouled off.
This ballpark hasn't been that great to Andrew Heaney. Look at over the course of his career. He's got 7 starts here. But he had 2 really bad ones. I think that kind of skewed those numbers at home this season, where he went 7 1/3 and gave up 13 earned runs. It's going to blow that ERA out of proportion a little bit.
High fly ball down the right field line, playable for Garcia, and Trejo is the first out of the inning. And here's Emily.
Yeah, we talked to Bruce Bochy today about Andrew Heaney and just what he's seen from him so far this season. He said really he's been the same guy since day one, and he said he really did notice that his last start, that slider was really working for him, and that's kind of when, you know, things are going really well for Andrew Heaney, is when that slider is on.
He needs it because he has a very simple pitch mix, right? There's not another breaking ball in there, and so that slider really does need to be on for him. Not that he couldn't get away with, you know, 4-seam fastball and changeup. However, second, third time around, you start to run into a little bit of trouble. So when that slider is going right, it complements everything else, and then he has the full repertoire, and that's when you're going to see Andrew Heaney getting deeper into games.
It goes 1-1 to Wins. And Wins, you might remember, bounced into that 1-2-3 double play in the 2nd inning. One of the big plays of the game so far, because that helped get Heaney out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam in the 2nd. One-two on the way, and he got him swinging. A strikeout of Wins, 2 gone.
Andrew Heaney's feeling it here a little bit. He threw a changeup previously, comes back with the fastball and elevated once again. You see a lot of barrels get underneath the fastball of Andrew Heaney because of that horizontal break that we were telling you about. And that's a very nice compliment. Good sequence from Jonah Heim and Andrew Heaney.
Tovar takes inside for a ball. Ezekiel Tovar grounded out in the 3rd inning. He's had some pesky at bats in this series. And he takes a strike, 1-1. A young guy, 21 years old. And he hits that one by 3rd into left field, base hit. Tovar is aboard. And now he'll go for 2. Here comes the throw, but it's offline. Now Tovar sniffed that one out from the get-go. He was bolting out of the box thinking double all the way.
As a young player, you want to be aggressive on the base pass, always thinking a base ahead. You know this is a base hit as that changeup comes back over the plate. Kind of cutting a little bit on Andrew Heaney. That's aggressive, and you got to know your outfielders and their arms. Robbie Grossman's got a little bit better than a league average arm, but that one was pretty far offline too. Heaney's thrown 21 changeups today. That pitch was a changeup. 86% strikes.
And this one a slider that's popped up back of 2nd base, and Semien able to race underneath it for the final out of the inning. We are halfway there this afternoon, and the Rangers. And we look ahead to the next homestand. And on Saturday in that homestand, June 3rd, Rangers-Mariners, middle game of that series. First 15,000 fans are going to get a Nathaniel Lowe Silver Slugger bobblehead presented by Coca-Cola. Get your tickets now at Rangers.com. The timing there, Lowe leading it off. 1 for 2 today, and he takes inside for a ball. That's just Kismet. Caracetti got a strikeout last inning. Also walked a batter. So I think that means that he's due to give up a home run here to Lowe. Take care of the 3 true outcomes with the first 3 hitters he faces. Lowe with 5 homers and 29 RBIs so far. Picked up his 14th double of the year back in the first inning. He hits this one foul. Strike two.
Probably more amazing with Caracetti. We showed you the numbers at AAA and even 4 ERA, which is very respectable when you consider his home ballpark. In 18 innings in AAA this year, he only allowed 1 home run in the PCL. That is not easy to do. Ball flies in a lot of different places in that league, the Pacific Coast League.
On the ground, right side, diving stop by Trejo. He throws to first, not in time. Lowe beats it out for an infield hit.
Almost a tremendous play over there at second base. The problem was on the exchange. Really good range to his left for Trejo. Watch it here, full extension. That's a great job, but he just could not get it out. You see how he dropped the ball in the grass, tried to pick it up. I don't know if he did that on purpose or not, but tried to pick it up with the bare hand. And Nathaniel Lowe smelling that hit, busted down the line.
So now Garcia, when he fouls off strike one. Adolis with a walk today, also a ground out. Rangers trying to finish off a sweep of the Rockies this afternoon, and thusly a winning homestand. 0-2 the count now on Garcia, and the Rangers, they need to keep winning ball games because right now their lead in the division, 2 games. They're happy. It's been a great start, one of the best starts in franchise history. But the Houston Astros are surging lately. They've won 6 straight, 9 of the last 10. And they're leading today 2-0 playing Oakland. So you figure, I mean, you hate to say it, but when you look at a matchup between the Astros and Oakland, the natural reaction would be to say that that's a win for Houston. So the Rangers would need a win today to maintain that 2-game lead. The 1-2, and that's outside.
I think it was just a matter of time, really, for the Astros, and they're still not completely healthy, especially in their rotation, but they were going to get it going. You mentioned it, they've been playing some really good baseball, 9-1 over their last 10. Jose Altuve back in that lineup, like they're getting there. They'll be a problem, no doubt.
Time called here by Garcia. The hope is the Rangers can continue to put pressure on Houston and force them to have to win games like they are right now. I mean, they're off to a pretty good start, all things considered. That's down low. Full count now on Adolis.
Another good at bat here from a Ranger. Down in the count, 0-2. Now working the count full for Adolis Garcia.
Low off first. A 3-2, and that's ball 4. So an infield hit and a walk. Rangers have the first 2 men on in this 5th inning.
How about a little StatCast powered by Google Cloud, taking a look at Josh Jung and that solo home run that he hit in the 2nd inning, 92 miles an hour in the upper third of the strike zone. He turned on it, and a no-doubter at 405 feet for the Rangers rookie third baseman.
Josh bats here with a couple men on. Had a great homestand, only getting better with the results so far this afternoon. A chance to really make it a good homestand. This one gets away. It goes to the backstop. Both runners will move up. A wild pitch.
Forkball you see here from Caracetti, and he yanks it. Not just that it goes down, but it also pulls it. And that is a tough pitch to block, no doubt. Wins got up a little bit early and went right through his legs.
Great spot for Young. Well, that's a pretty good fastball right there. Two-seamer that started off the plate came back in for a strike. 1-1 from Caracetti. That's strike 2. So I mentioned that Young has hit the ball well on the homestand. He was 5 for 13 coming in. You had the home run today. Those numbers get that much better. And his hitting streak is now at 5 games. Infield about halfway in. And that's outside. So another 2-strike count here. And another Ranger trying to work his way back in it. There have already been 10 plate appearances this afternoon for the Rangers that have gone at minimum 6 pitches. Two. It's ball 3. So another full count. Rangers exploded for 5 runs in the 2nd inning. Otherwise, it's been pretty quiet so far this afternoon on both sides. This will be the 6th pitch of this at bat. And it's ball 4. The bases are loaded. Rangers haven't gotten it out of the infield this inning, but they have a runner on every base with nobody out. But Black, who had a real good pitching career of his own today, in fact, the anniversary of one of his complete game shutouts. It happened here in Arlington back in 1985 against the Rangers. And Bud did that 12 times in his career. Great pitcher, longtime manager. He and Dusty Baker, or rather, he and Dusty Baker do go back, but he actually goes back with Bruce Bochy as well. Boch has faced Baker a lot, and he has faced Bud Black a lot as managers. And how about that? A dead heat right now between these two. 106 wins against one another. Jonah Heim with a chance to do some big damage. Fouls off strike 1. Jonah 0 for 2. He is flat out to left and rolled out to first. Infield up on the edge of the grass. Lowe, Garcia, and Young third to first. Here it is. It's tight. This one is tilted heavily in favor of the Rangers to this point, but it could really get askew here with one big swing by Jonah. And that's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rangers averaging better than 6.3 runs per game this year, most in Major League Baseball. The 1-2, and Heim hits it hard but foul. We saw some swings like that yesterday from Sandy Leon, who did the catching in yesterday afternoon's game. He fouled a couple of hard ground balls, both sides, first and third base side. Boch pointed out yesterday that he was probably hitting 950 in cricket. He couldn't be stopped yesterday if it was a cricket match. This one in the air, center field. Doyle coming on. And he's got a long way to go, and he can't get there in time. And everybody is safe. RBI single for Jonah Heim. And it's 6-0 Rangers.
Some really good base running by Josh Young to make sure that he could get to second base in time. Obviously, you don't want to go too far and get doubled off first base, but you also want to make sure you can get to second base so that your hitter in Jonah Heim doesn't lose the base hit. And of course, more importantly, that you would be out. Everybody seeing how long that ball was in the air. Once you saw Doyle look down, you realized you had a chance to get there, even for Nathaniel Lowe. Everybody booking it on that bloop base hit.
So the infield stays in, and Robbie Grossman the batter. And he'll take strike 1. Oh, what a weird inning. An infield hit, 2 walks, And then that towering single. A run across, still nobody out. Grossman, a huge swing on that fork ball, I guess is what he's throwing. And Robbie way out in front. 0-2 the count. Ground out and a strikeout today for Grossman. And he did it again. Strikes out swinging this time, and there's the first out of the inning. Same pitch, same result. So now a chance for Ezekiel Duran. Now Duran 0 for 1. He walked and scored in the second inning. He flew out to right field last inning. Karasetti really having to work here. He eases one in there for a strike to Duran. Middle of the infield backs up now. And this one is blooped out to right field. Grichuk gets there, tagging at third Garcia, but he blocks. So 2 away. Bring up Leody Taveras. So you asked earlier, CJ, about the 13 times the Rangers have scored at least 5 runs in an inning this year. Is it as many as last year? Maybe. Yeah, already. And one better. It's as many as they scored the previous season as well.
So you're saying they're done for the year? It's not going to happen again?
No, I think they might have another one in them right here. I mean, if Taveras connects, then they've done it for a second time today.
I think we're going to see it quite a few more times from these Rangers. We talk a lot about the depth of this lineup and the production that they're getting, not only from the big names at the top, but also what's been happening at the bottom.
1 ball, 1 strike to Leody. We know he has power. Just the 1 home run so far this year. And that one down the left side. Will it stay fair? It does, and then it bounces up against the wall. That'll get 2 runs in. Here comes a third. It's a bases clearing double for Taveras. Another big inning. 4 runs across in total. And the Rangers lead 9-0.
I'm not sure Leody thought this ball was going to be fair or foul off the bat. Looks like that fork ball, but it hung this time instead of being down. And then the other part of this, and it's a bad break for the Rockies, that it did not bounce up into the seats. And then you see Jurickson Profar having a hard time handling this. A lot going on down there in the corner, and that's a beautiful thing. 3 RBIs for Leody Taveras. I don't think they would give Profar an error. They could after they see that replay, which would change it to 2 RBIs, but it doesn't change necessarily the double.
Now Marcus Semien with another runner in scoring position. 30 pitches in the inning for Karasetti. The 1-0, and Marcus takes outside. Remember, Marcus came up in the second inning with a chance with 2 outs to deliver a big hit. He did, a 2-run double. We noted at the time, there are runners in scoring position. Boy, things just get goofy for Marcus. He's the best in the business in these spots, and he takes ball 3. First base is open with Seager waiting on deck, but that is not at all what's motivating the effort right now from Karasetti. He just probably running out of gas this inning. This will be his 33rd pitch. And he misses with a strike. And 1. What?
Unfortunately, we've seen quite a few of those called today. Not consistently, though. There's been some out there that haven't been called, and I guarantee you this, that is a ball 100 out of 100 times in an 0-2 count.
Marcus takes you what? Okay, full count.
I mean, the catcher's movement with the glove also tells you that it wasn't a strike. You're not going to move that much if you believe that pitch is in the zone.
All bets are off here. Here comes the 3-2. And there's a swing and a liner to center field. Drops in, base hit around third base. Taveras. It's another 5-run inning for the Rangers. Unbelievable. 10-0.
Marcus has been doing it all year long with runners in scoring position. He didn't want that walk. He might have been a little irritated by those last 2 calls, but works out in his favor. Kind of shaking his head a little bit and saying, you know what, I got walked twice in that at bat, but I'll take my base hit. 4-seam fastball. He knows he's got to go hacking. That one might have been out of the zone, but too close to take based on the strike zone this afternoon. And make it now, what, 14 times for the Rangers, in which they have scored 5 runs in a single inning.
Tell you, it's just not supposed to be this easy to hit and to score like the Rangers have. A dozen times now they've been in double digits this year, including today. That too leads Major League Baseball. And the Rangers don't appear to be done yet. Here is Corey Seager. He homered in the second, 1 for 3 today. And poor Matt Caracetti. He's asked to stay in the game. And I don't know how much more they would push him this inning. That might have been that visit by a little time for the bullpen. 1-1 on Corey Seager. I had Lawrence throwing out there a moment ago, but here you go. You're 3 pitches away from 40 in the inning. That's not good. I don't mean that from a competitive standpoint. You get to a real scary level of danger for a pitcher's arm, and that one lined into left field. That's a base hit. Semien got a good start. He's heading to third, and he'll be pointed to the plate. He scores without a throw. Seager with the RBI double. It is 11-0. And Bud Black has no choice. He has to go get Caracetti. His day is done, and Lawrence coming on for the Rockies.
Over the Rockies here in the bottom of the 5th, and Bruce Bochy mentioned it yesterday. This team does not let up despite what the score is. They can be up big, have a big inning, and they're not going to let up. They're going to continue to grind out at bats. We saw it last night. We're seeing it again here this afternoon. The fact that just top to bottom there is no break in this Rangers lineup.
Pretty incredible to see, and it is a real challenge for any pitcher when you come in and prepare. There are no soft spots right now in this Ranger lineup, and it makes it problematic, and that's why we have seen what we have seen so far from this offense and the way that they just continue to put up the big numbers, as Justin Lawrence now will come on for his 20th appearance. He's done a really nice job for Bud Black's club. You can see the overall ERA, nice batting average against. He's done a good job when he's had inherited runners, just 1 of 7 scoring. So up and down the line, it's been a good year for him in this bullpen.
His first pitch fouled off by Lowe for strike 1. The Rangers still have Seager out there at second base. An RBI spot for Nathaniel, and he'll ask for time. This next offering from Lawrence will be the 140th pitch of the day for Colorado. Rangers have thrown 75 pitches. Inside, 1-1. So nearly twice the number of pitches so far for Colorado. I mean, it's exhausting for that pitching staff. Lowe has 2 hits today already, and he takes way in. Lawrence just slinging it from the side there, and right now not dialed in. Here's the 2-1. That's off the plate. 6 runs across already in this 5th inning. There are 2 out. It's fouled off. So let's see, 5 of the 6 runs this inning have scored with 2 outs, which is kind of in line with the way this day has gone for Colorado. Rangers just have not let up. Another payoff, and Lowe taps it back to the mound. Lawrence has it, and he'll underhand it to first to end the inning. A 6-run 5th inning for the Rangers. One of the big hits, clearing double. This one all Rangers. Presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. Yeah, now that's how you spend a day right there, out of the pool, watching the game on TV. Beautiful today as well. By the way, it was 73 degrees when this one got started this afternoon. Rangers have raised the temperature a little bit, at least on the left side of the field, the third base side, where you could probably fry an egg on the back of Bud Black's neck, the way this one has gone. 11-0. Andrew Heaney goes to work in the 6th inning. Ryan McMahon, Chris Bryant, Randall Grichuk, and Josh Smith has come in to play second base. Marcus Semien, I'm sure this was quite a battle, but Semien removed from the game, take a little time off. He does not love that kind of a thing, but it's a smart move today. It's outside, 3-1. Any chance you can get to convince Marcus maybe to take a little breather here and there? Probably worth the effort. McMahon walks to open the 6th inning.
And it's a good time to get Josh Smith some reps as well over at second base, and he's certainly been a good infielder. We know defensively when we've seen it from him. He got an early opportunity over at short when Corey Seager went down. This kind of goes back to what Emily was talking about earlier in the depth of what the Rangers have, both offensively and defensively.
Chris Bryant 1 for 2 today, and pops this one up in a short right field. Garcia comes in to get it, 1 away. Let's pump a little enthusiasm into this thing with Rally House.
Play ball, Texas. Shop the latest in Rangers style with your favorite brands and throwback designs. Rally House has gear for every fan.
Pretty jazzed. Randall Grichuk 1 for 2 today. McMahon at first, and the first pitch to him, that one stopped everybody in their tracks. That was great. Jonah Heim had the exact same reaction I had, which is, well, wait a minute, everybody's got to do their part here. This is where you call strike 1. This one turned foul. 1-1. There've been some moments today for Charlie Ramos back there.
It's a gentle relationship, and you got to be careful when you're back there as the catcher, nudging an umpire along. You saw what's been going on with this strike zone, feeling like it's big, and so when you miss one, you feel like it should be called a strike. Patience is very important back there for those catchers, and the way that they ask. We know the pitchers are going to be a little bit more animated and maybe a little bit more sarcastic in what they do, a little passive aggressive in the way that they ask.
I thought it was self-evaluation we're working through here.
Yeah.
This went off to the right.
That's what my therapist told me.
You know, you put these terms on it now, all this behavior. But no, the catchers, they don't have that same luxury. Be a little more political about things, although that was pretty loudly stated, I thought, there by Jonah a moment ago. Let me flat froze. 2-2 pitch, and that one hit hard up the middle. Base hit. Man stops at second. Grichuk with his second hit of the game. So the Rockies have a couple of base runners here. Well, with the score 11-0, you begin to look at Andrew Heaney's day and say, okay, well, we're, what, 86 pitches here. A couple of men on base. Let's say he gets through this inning, maybe gets a double play or something, gets through the inning around 90 pitches. Let him go back out one more, maybe, or you just call it good. There's a bouncer first base. Lowe will go to second for one. No, he won't. That one goes into left field, and it allows a run to score. The throw just a little bit offline there for Duran, and he couldn't quite glove it. A fielder's choice and an error.
Yeah, this one hit Randall Grichuk on the throw, and the lane, I guess, wasn't there, or Grichuk may have swerved. You never know, and a runner's allowed to do that when he has his back to the fielder. If you want to try to get in the line of the throw, it looked like Grichuk was just going to go to the outside of the bag.
Yeah, I didn't notice that it hit him on that on the ear flap there, on the side of the helmet anyway, as he was running. So that's a bummer of an error right there for Nathaniel. The error which allowed the runner to score from third base. Now Doyle, and this one lifted high in the air down the right side. There might be room for Garcia. If he'd had just a split second more to get that position first.
Let's see. You know what happened is he went to reach up for it. His arm ended up hitting the padding, and so it couldn't get to full extension. Otherwise, I think he would have had a shot at this. See how the arm just kind of couldn't go up as much as he wanted it to because it was up against the wall. That shoulder was.
Upstairs, yeah, just a moment before, and he could have positioned himself and made that play easily. So, meanwhile, extra life for Doyle. 1-1 pitch. That's inside. So anyway, what do you think about Heaney? You just figure get through 6, you're good?
Now, yes. Now that we see Josh Sborz warming up, and I think it does make some sense when you look at the pitch count, just 1 out here in the 6th inning. Had he gotten that double play, maybe a little bit different. You know, Bruce Bochy's not afraid to let his starters go, and there's a really good lead here this afternoon. But Andrew Heaney has not thrown 100 pitches this season. When you look at his game so far, he has peaked at 98. So it seems like perhaps that is the comfort level for the Rangers with Andrew Heaney. Of course, remember, he missed some time last year and was on the IL, so didn't have a full season of coming off 30 starts. That's a big part of it, right? You think about what you do from one year to the next and where you're comfortable and how much are you willing to push a pitcher when it comes to his total innings for the season. You plan these things out before the season even starts, and it was 16 games, 14 starts for Andrew Heaney last year, and only 77 2/3 innings.
2-2. And there's a swing and a miss, a strikeout of Doyle, second out of the inning. Let's check in again with Emily.
Well, and Boch talked about this today as well, the fact that this team has been on the right side of so many lopsided scores that it gives guys an opportunity like Josh Smith to get some work in the field, and also gets these bullpen guys some chance to work some things out. Obviously, that's been, you know, a point of contention for this team, and there's no better way to get guys right than, you know, in an actual game and see what they can do.
We saw that with the bullpen a little bit yesterday and trying to get some guys going in a game that was not particularly close. We did see, unfortunately, Jonathan Hernandez struggle a little bit, right? That's one of those arms down the bullpen that you're trying to get back on track. But it is nice once in a while to have some less pressure situations for those relievers.
Short fly ball right field, but Garcia quickly closes that space and makes the catch. Rockies get their first run of the ball game, but we had on all Rangers so far here in the 6th inning now. Cool peek into the action here. Now you look at guys who've scored a lot of runs this year. Semien 43, Adolis Garcia right behind him. This is in all of Major League Baseball. Only Acuna has scored more for Atlanta. The Rangers have been putting up a lot of crooked numbers, and they've done it again today. Garcia goes after that first pitch and fouls it away. Rangers batted around last inning, put up 6 more runs. It's quickly 0-2 on Adolis. Garcia, a couple of walks today, and he lifts this one out to right field. That's going to be playable. And Grichuk puts it away for the first out of the inning. Comes up Josh Young. So yesterday, 2 4-run innings. Rangers had a couple of other runs in the 5th and 6th innings in yesterday's game, but 2 4-run innings. Today, a 5 and a 6-run inning, and a 5-run inning in Friday's game. I mean, they have just absolutely bashed Colorado over and over again. If you didn't know any better, you'd see these scores and it wasn't clear where the game was played. You would assume that they were played in Colorado. That's low, 1-1. And you would also assume it was back in the 90s or something, when there were no humidors and any measures in place to try and tamp down some of the crazy offensive numbers. This one bounced to third base. McMahon backs up on it, throws to first and gets Young. 2 up, 2 down. So the Rangers hit the road after this one, head to Pittsburgh, the Pirates tomorrow night. And we will have it for you right here on Bally Sports, 5:30 tomorrow for the first pitch. That'll be fun. The Pirates team playing some pretty good baseball. Dane Dunning against Luis Ortiz tomorrow, right-hander. And there is strike 1 to Jonah Heim. Lawrence got the final out last inning, and 2 quick outs here, so he's done what few have been able to do for the Rockies. He's come in and just kind of keep things moving along quietly. Not a whole lot of incidents. That ball hit hard out to right field and reeled in by Grichuk. Heim with a long, loud out. Afternoons. It's very next.
Chevy Hood, and this afternoon we find Brock Burke. Very, very Colorado heavy. Favorite road ballpark, Coors Field. Favorite sports team, Denver Broncos. Favorite baseball player, Todd Helton. Very Colorado influenced, guys.
Yeah, well, I thought you were going to go mountains or beach, but that would be obvious as well.
Little known fact, Todd Helton, big waffle guy.
That's not true. You told me the other day, not true. All right, Joe Barlow comes on here. He'll start the 7th inning. Andrew Heaney done after 6 strong innings.
So far, so good for Joe Barlow in the 2 games since his recall from AAA. Saw him pitch in the opening game of this series, a shutout inning on just 12 pitches.
I think it's first pitch strike. Austin wins. Tovar, and then back up top for the former Ranger Jurickson Profar. There's a swing and a miss. 0-2. Rockies got their first run of the game last inning as Heaney got toward the end of his afternoon. 95 pitches for Andrew today. 1 unearned run. 6 hits allowed. He struck out 5. There's a swing and a miss, and a strikeout of Wins begins the 7th inning.
That's a good way to start things off here. There's that Joe Barlow slider, top of the zone here. He's probably trying to sweep it away a little bit, but that works as well up above the strike zone, and a pretty late swing there from Wins.
1 gone, and Tovar, who is doubled and grounded out today, takes upstairs, ball 1. Well, if you're a Rockies fan, it's going to be a tough year. It's pretty clear. But you have to look forward to guys like this guy at the plate, Ezequiel Tovar. Seems to be a really talented defensive player, a guy with some offensive potential as well. Elias Diaz behind the plate, a really good one as well. And then you have to hope that the team makes some moves with some of the players who might provide value to a team trying to make a move in a pennant. This one lifted out to right field. That's going to be playable for Garcia. 2 away. And they'll get Brendan Rodgers back eventually. McMahon's pretty good at third base. And then they need pitching. I mean, I guess when you get right down to it, that's always the big challenge. Developing and acquiring enough pitching to really compete. Barlow goes right after Profar with strike 1. Barlow first man up. Be nice to see him get a nice, clean, perfect 7th inning. There's something to build on going into a big road trip now. 2-1. Formerly the Rangers closer, going back a couple years. Even parts of last year. This one fouled off, or shot out into left field, I should say. Base hit. So Profar with his 2nd hit of the game. All right, what do you got, Jack, in the box?
My ribeye steakhouse burgers are made with 100% ribeye beef. Think of them as the CEO of burgers.
I was kind of anticipating Jack responding to you by name. Would have been amazing. I'll tell you what I got, Dave. Throw that in the idea box.
That would be fun. Barlow a little up with that one. A fastball at 94. That's one of the keys with Joe Barlow. Try to keep an eye on the velocity of the fastball. When he's up mid-90s or better, then you know you have your good Joe Barlow. Recent years had a little trouble with the velocity dipping on him. There's a swing and a miss at the slider. Nobody holding Profar at first in an 11-1 game. The 1-1. That sails high. The Rangers came in 11 games over 500. First time they've been that far over 500 since they won the division in 2016. And if they win today and go a dozen games better than 500, same story will hold. This one popped up into left field for Grossman. And it's a scoreless 7th for Joe Barlow. Well done. Rangers still leading by 10. The folks here, they'll stand and stretch as we hand it over to Chuck Morgan.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Will you please rise? We invite you to join in singing as Rangers organist Dustin Tretro plays God Bless America.
Rangers baseball on Bally Sports is brought to you by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better, and by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. Pretty fun afternoon here at Globe Life Field. Rangers leading 11-1 in the first pitch here in the 7th inning. This sent high in the air into short right field. Trejo out from second base retires Grossman, and there is one out.
New pitcher in the game for the Colorado Rockies. It is Brent Suter, former Milwaukee Brewer. This was a really nice claim for the Brewers. For the Rockies. You can see his numbers. How about this? 27 2/3 and an ERA under 1 at 0.98. Probably a name, quite honestly, that is going to come up come deadline time. He'll be a free agent at the end of the year, and that reliever market always a pretty hot one.
I gotta believe that the Rockies general manager Bill Schmidt, he's probably already heard from a couple of teams inquiring. Fly ball short right. Grichuk's had a busy afternoon, and there are 2 away. Here comes Leody Taveras. Taveras 2 for 3.
It's not a hard thrower. How about this? His four-seam fastball averages 86. The two-seamer at 88. There's a changeup and a slider in there as well. He's been good against both lefties and righties so far this season. You can see it, kind of a funky delivery, crossfire. And my goodness, we don't say it too often that guys work quick, because everybody works quick, but Brent Suter's working pretty quick right now.
You really gotta do something to earn that kind of a distinction in today's game. I mean, he hardly takes but a moment once he gets up there. Once that foot gets near and touches the rubber, it's go time. Here we go. 2-2.
And he's definitely all lefty as he wipes the third base side of the rubber with both feet and then slides over to the first base side of the rubber. And trying to disrupt that routine. That time was only one wipe with the left foot.
This one softly lined out towards second. Nice job by Trejo to time the leap and take that one away. The inning is done. 8th inning coming up this afternoon. It's 11-1. As we have arrived at the 8th inning. Yesterday was 11-5 win. Today up 11-1. Now the Rangers heading out on a road trip after this one, and one of the teams they'll see will be the Orioles. And the Orioles, you can see they are 11-3-1 in series this year. The Rangers 10-4-1, and that includes this series win already. But they've done a great job, just series by series. Just try and take 2 out of 3, whatever the case. A couple of 4-game series makes that a little bit more of a challenge, or a 2-game series. And here's Jose Leclerc in the 8th.
15th time this season that we now have seen Jose Leclerc coming out of that Ranger bullpen. 2.77 ERA. The walks have been a little bit of an issue. 2 home runs allowed for Jose. His fastball's been sitting at 94. He's got a slider, changeup, and cutter in there as well. And his last couple of games have been pretty good. There's been a couple of bumps in the road for Jose, but the last 2 in particular, a couple of innings, 3 strikeouts, no walks, just 1 hit allowed. As the Rangers try to get him back on track, a very important piece in that bullpen when he is healthy and throwing well.
He deals with Michael Toglia, the pinch hitter. And Toglia in the game replacing Chris Bryant as the designated hitter. And we saw a shot there, Bubba Thompson, a moment ago. He's taken over in right field for the Rangers. 2 balls and a strike now on Toglia. Time running short for Colorado. 2-2 now the count. They just have not had much to enjoy or celebrate on this stop off here in Arlington, and it's the only stop they make on this road trip. They're on a stretch of a lot of games at home. Toglia strikes out swinging. 1 away in the 8th.
This is the slider from Jose Leclerc. You can Let's see how he gets on the side of that baseball and just really cuts it. How about Tolley and how much he missed that by? It was not close.
Here's Grichuk. He's had a good day, a couple of hits. He'll take a little bit low. The Rockies had a day off prior to this series, and they had just completed a homestand. And then after this ball game today, they head back home again for another long homestand. But this series does start a stretch of 17 games in 17 days for them, which goes back to a topic that we've hit on a lot today for Bud Black, which is his bullpen, his pitching staff. They've been beaten up pretty badly in this series, and they're going to have no rest coming up as this one ripped down the third baseline foul. Long strike. It's 2-1. So Grichuk heads back to the plate. He was off and running. Hoping. Well, the clerk struck out Tolia. Here's his 2-1 to Grichuk. And that's fouled back. Good job by Joe Barlow to post a scoreless 7th inning. That's one thing that will more than likely be lost in today's game for the Rangers, is to this point really good pitching. Just kind of overwhelmed by all the offensive numbers. Infield back, the 3-2 to Grichuk. He pulls it foul. Grichuk came in hitting .328 and added a couple of hits in today's game. This is 16th game since coming back off the injured list, and he's crushing it. And he takes ball 4. So he's a bright spot for them as well. He walks. Well, groups of 15 or more, and save on ticket prices at Rangers home games. Choose your seats, pick all your perks. It's a cool process. Just go to rangers.com/groups. Get your group out. Moustakas, he's 0 for 2 with a walk today, and he swings over strike 1. Just like that, no balls, 2 strikes on Moustakas. His average dips just a little bit more today. He's now under 230 up to the moment. 229 average. And the clerk gets him to hit this one foul. Count stays 0-2. Good hands.
Wow.
I'm going to guess that's her first foul ball.
It's act like you've been there before, right? No, it's amazing. It's a great moment, and you never forget it. And some great TV time.
This one hit on the ground up the middle. That's a base hit for Moustakas. Grichuk around second. He'll go to third. And so Colorado has him on the corners with 1 out.
So we talk about this Rangers offense and the great work that they have done and some big numbers that we have seen all year long. Of course, the pitching has been really good, especially that rotation. So what does that leave you with? It leaves you with an incredible run differential. And this is live and updated right now for the Rangers. Only the Tampa Bay Rays have a larger run differential. You can see the Atlanta Braves, they're pretty far back. It's been that kind of start to the season here in Texas.
Brenton Doyle, the batter here, and Doyle had a hit in his first time up. He has struck out twice since. The run differential thing might be the craziest part of what has happened in this start for the Rangers. They've played really well, won a lot of ball games, but it's not like they've eked out a lot of ball games. There have been so many like today. This one is a fair ball. Stays just inside that third base bag. Takes a weird carom out into left field. A run is in on the double by Doyle. And Moustakas stops at third base.
A couple of weak contact base hits here against Jose Leclerc. Some bad luck. Take a look at this slider. Now he didn't get it where he wanted it. He wanted it away, but he still got bad contact. Just a ground ball that found a hole. The second one this inning.
John Heim goes out there to have a word with Leclerc. Well, this is a big deal. This is a pressureless spot right now for Leclerc. So he could experiment a little bit if there was something that they were working on that they want to see how it looks and feels in a game, whatever. But he's a guy that the Rangers need to get right. There's a swing and a miss by Alan Trejo. When the season started, you figure the Rangers, hadn't done a lot to their bullpen, and that there may be some bumps in the road for them. But the two guys in particular, you figure we're going to be mainstays and just kind of solid contributors out there. We're going to be Jose Leclerc and Jonathan Hernandez, and both have fallen onto some tough times here. So these are games where we hope those two could get in there, work some things out. A little pop up first base side, low. Not quite enough room for him. See that dude, he's been there before. That's how you catch. I got it. No big deal. Although it is kind of cool. There you go.
That's the coolest part right there.
Yeah.
You hand it off, and you get that big smile from a youngster who is properly dressed.
In the dirt, and that'll get a run to the plate. A wild pitch scores Moustakas. Doyle goes to third base. Two runs across here in the eighth inning. So 11-3. Rangers jumped out 11-0 in this one, but the Rockies ain't got a run in the sixth, an unearned run at that. Now played it a couple here in the eighth inning, the 2-2 pitch, and this one hit softly to third base, and it's caught by Young for the second out of the inning.
Some more weak contact from Jose Leclerc. That one was hit at 65 miles an hour.
This will be his 25th pitch of the inning. Austin wins 0 for 3 so far today, and he takes strike one. A getaway day for these two clubs. Good crowd today. In fact, it was an excellent weekend for these crowds here. I think all three crowds over 30,000. Yesterday we had over 34,000.
And the party kept going yesterday. It was Viva Tejas yesterday.
Yeah.
Took a walk probably a good hour and a half or so after the game. Still lots of people here as we're approaching almost 100,000 fans in this three-game series.
Today 32,733. There's a swing and a miss, and a strikeout of Wins ends the threat in the eighth inning. But the Rockies pick up a couple more runs. It's been a long afternoon for the Colorado Rockies and their fans. You'd understand if they're a little down on their daubers, unless you catch a foul ball. Celebrate. Go ahead, young lady. 11-3. Rangers leading in a fairly substantial way here in the bottom of the eighth inning. And since it's an 8-run game, that allows Bud Black to not have to use his bullpen. Instead, he goes to a position player as Alan Trejo, who was playing second base, takes over on the mound.
It's now the second time that he has pitched in a game for the Colorado Rockies. In the other game that he pitched an inning. He gave up a solo home run, but that was it.
Josh Smith hits a ball hard out to right field, and it is gone. A home run. A leadoff homer in the 9th inning for Josh Smith.
They'll never know. They'll never know it was against the Rockies second baseman. It doesn't mean it's automatic or that it's easy. This is a changeup based on that grip. Sometimes it's difficult to stay back on pitches that are super slow. Did that one even make the radar gun? That last pitch? Nice catch out there in the bullpen. Is that Brett Hayes? Who is that?
Yep, that's Brett Hayes, bullpen coach. There's a ground ball left side of the infield. That one is through. Base hit for Seager.
So the first pitch to Corey Seager, which I was very curious about, showed up as a slider at 45 miles an hour. The next pitch, that one he just had his base hit on, was 44. There's 43. And I'm just wondering what you're wondering. Will we see anything in the 30s? At least my 30s.
It's hard to get it there in the 30s. This one hit hard out to left field. That'll be extra bases. Seager will stop at third base. Double for Nathaniel Lowe.
Changeup once again. I guess they're all changeups, really. This is now the 6th time that the Texas Rangers have had a position player pitch against them. There are 14 teams that have never had so far this season a position player pitch against them. 6 times for the Rangers.
Bubba Thompson came in to play defense, getting his first at bat of the day. And he will hit this one in the air. Center field, hangs up a little bit out there. Tagging at third base, Seager. He'll score, and that's just a good team play. Bubba Thompson gets a sacrifice fly.
Yeah, you may wonder about that one a little bit, and the idea of him scoring on that, but Bubba Thompson has not got a lot of plate appearances, and so you hate to take an O for there, and otherwise what would have been a sacrifice fly, and so it helps him out, gets him that RBI as well. And I think Corey Seager wanted to go back to the bench too.
There's something to that. And this one got in on the hands. It will end up a fly ball to center field again. 2 away. And here comes Jonah Heim. 12-3. Rangers bats having a little fun today, and Jonah fouls off strike 1. Well, trying to finish off a sweep of the Rockies. A good way to head out on another 3-city road trip. Rangers just came back from a 3-city road trip. Jonah waits on that one and then turns it foul. 0-2. The last road trip took the Rangers through the West Coast and all division play. This trip will take them to the National League and then the American League East and Central, I suppose. Anyway, the inning is done. Josh Smith, how about another home run for Smitty? So Rangers tack on some additional runs in the 8th.
Guys at the top of the lineup doing a lot of damage today. There is Marcus Semien with a double that drove in 2 runs. That happened back in the 2nd inning, and then he's not the only one. Corey Seager got in on the act with a 2-run home run of his own. Dave, I know you heard of the M&M boys. How about the S&S boys today? Semien and Seager, they've been getting it done all year long, and they did something pretty special today that they have not done so far in their careers as Rangers, and that's driving in 3 each in the same game. They have done it today, and That means you get to watch the 9th inning from the bench.
Pretty cool day for both of them as we go here to the top of the 9th. Tovar leading it off for the Rockies, and Brock Burke on out of the pen. Lefty's next pitch fouled away. 0-2 the count. Burke, the third man up out of the bullpen today, and that fastball is a little bit tight. His 16th relief appearance this year. Stays the ball on 2 strikes on Tovar. Then back up top again. Church and Profar waiting on deck, and Ryan McMahon. 10-run Rangers lead. 2-2. Burke, one of the guys who Rangers kind of hoping can stabilize a little bit. He'd run into a little bit of trouble. It's one of those things. I don't know what it is about a bullpen, but sometimes there's just some sort of, it's like a second-grade classroom where somebody gets a cold and that crud just goes around, just pass from one guy to the next. But Brock had allowed a home run in 2 straight coming into this outing. It's unusual. So
it is.
He's a good outing.
I'll say this. One of the things that has been going on with him is that we've just seen more balls leaking out over the plate, especially against right-handed hitters. That's been the focus with Brock Burke and trying to get inside to righties with some more consistency.
Full count. Burke went to Evergreen High School in Colorado. That's part of the reason, of course, his affinity for all things Colorado. We heard earlier from Emily. This one in the air, right side foul, and should end up in the seats. It doesn't.
So the walk rate is actually down for Brock Burke, so he's done a good job. And his walks were really good last year, but they've been excellent so far this season. But the strikeouts have come down with that. That rate has been a little bit lower than we saw a year ago. He was very dominant last season. Struck out 27% of the hitters he faced last season.
Fly ball out to right field. And it's taken by the center fielder, Taveras. 1 away. Here comes Profar. So Andrew Heaney going to pick up his 3rd win of the year. He'll go to 3-3. Connor Siebold, the man who will end up taking the loss for Colorado. They already were owners of the largest divisional deficit in the National League at 9.5 back of the Dodgers. That's not getting any better anytime soon. Rangers just trying to maintain their advantage over the Astros, who, as we mentioned earlier, have really picked things up recently. This is popped up, foul ground, first base side, and Lowe able to get to it. Colorado down to their final out. Brings up Ryan McMahon. Well, the Rangers offense has rolled in this one. 31 runs scored. And that is the most in a series this year for the Rangers. Remember that other one there, the 30 runs, that was in LA to start that last road trip. Just pounded lumps on the Angels in that series before going to Seattle. Some lower scoring games up there. There's a strike, 1-1. It's been an impressive showing these last 3 days. There's a strike. 1-2. Trying to sweep the Rockies in a 3-game series. Another foul ball.
Well, Brock Burke finish off McMahon with a strikeout. More often than not, he's done it with his fastball. 104 strikeouts going back to the beginning of last year, and 72 of those coming on his four-seam fastball.
And there's a swing and a miss. A strikeout of McMahon ends it. And for the first time, the Rangers have swept the Colorado Rockies. It never happened prior to today. A 13-3 shellacking of the visiting Rockies.
Yeah, took care of business today exactly the way that we expected them to. It doesn't always work out that way. On paper, you're favored pretty heavily, but the offense got it done. Once again, don't forget about Andrew Heaney getting out of that second inning, bases loaded, nobody out jammed. That was a big one. The Rangers came back, scored 5 runs the next inning, and they just took off from there. And another convincing win for this Rangers ball club.
So they keep cruising. Now 12 games over 500 and headed out for a big road trip. For CJ Nitkowski and Emily Jones, I'm Dave Raymond. Thanks for spending your afternoon with us. Keep it right here. Rangers Live postgame is coming up next.